Welcome to Streaming News Network, where we deliver balanced reporting with the facts that matter. The Morning Edition by J. Claude McDaniel. Please like and subscribe.
This is J. Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. Newly released city records are shedding light on the months leading up to a deadly workplace shooting involving two Las Vegas city employees. Investigators say Bryson Kim has pleaded not guilty to the murder of coworker Joey McLean, who was fatally shot in the head shortly after 6 o'clock on the morning of June 12 near 7th Street and Stewart Avenue. According to court records, McLean had expressed growing concern for his safety months before the shooting. Internal documents reveal he urgently requested a transfer, telling city officials he needed immediate help and flexibility because of an escalating workplace conflict. Human Resources opened an investigation after both employees filed complaints against each other. Kim described the work environment as toxic and accused McLean of harassment, while McLean sought reassignment away from the situation. Despite the investigation, city management later approved McLean's return to work, and records show the two men continued working the same shifts for several months before the fatal confrontation. Prosecutors argue the long-running dispute does not justify the deadly attack and contend that evidence does not support Kim's claim of self-defense. Joey McLean, who had recently married and become a stepfather to 3 children, is being remembered by family and friends as a devoted husband and hardworking provider. The case remains pending as the criminal proceedings continue. This is J. Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. Communities across South Carolina are facing what experts describe as a silver tsunami, as experienced public finance officers and government administrators retire faster than they can be replaced. Officials warn the growing shortage is leaving many towns vulnerable to financial mistakes, missed grant opportunities, and even fraud. Experts estimate that roughly 2/3 of the nation's public finance workforce is now over the age of 50, while only about 5% are younger than 30, raising concerns about who will fill these critical positions in the coming decade. The shortage is already having consequences in South Carolina. About 1 in 4 municipalities have fallen behind on required annual financial audits, resulting in millions of dollars in withheld state funding. Local leaders say finding qualified accountants has become increasingly difficult, especially in smaller communities. Finance experts point to several causes, including higher educational requirements, lower public sector salaries, and increasing hostility toward government employees, particularly through social media. Many experienced managers are choosing early retirement or moving into private industry. Professional organizations are now calling for expanded recruiting efforts, improved compensation, streamlined certification pathways, and stronger support for local governments to help rebuild the workforce before the shortage grows even more severe. This is J. Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. Federal authorities are investigating an alleged case of animal cruelty after a video reportedly showed a man kicking and harassing a protected sea lion on a beach in La Jolla, California. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Office of Law Enforcement confirmed it is reviewing reports of the incident, which allegedly occurred Wednesday evening near La Jolla Cove. Officials say the video appears to show an individual kicking the sea lion, but the investigation remains active and no additional details have been released. The individual shown in the video has not been publicly identified. Following reports of the incident, San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria called the alleged actions disgusting and said wildlife must be protected. Local police have also been asked to review the reported video while federal investigators continue their work. Sea lions at La Jolla Cove are protected under the Federal Marine Mammal Protection Act. Harassing or disturbing these animals can result in civil penalties exceeding $30,000 for each violation, along with possible criminal prosecution and prison time. City officials have posted warning signs and restricted access to areas where sea lions gather, particularly during puppying season, reminding visitors to keep a safe distance from the animals. Authorities are encouraging anyone with information about the incident to contact federal investigators. This is J. Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. Hawaii Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke has been indicted on 12 criminal counts following a state grand jury investigation into alleged bribery and campaign finance violations. The charges include conspiracy to commit bribery, and falsifying campaign committee reports. Prosecutors allege the case involves campaign contributions connected to a coronavirus disease 19 testing contract awarded during the pandemic while Luke served as chair of the Hawaii House Finance Committee. Authorities allege campaign donations from a businessperson and lobbyist were exchanged for assistance involving the government contract. However, prosecutors must still prove those allegations in court, and an indictment is not a conviction. Governor Josh Green has publicly called on Luke to consider resigning, saying the state needs to move forward. Luke had already taken a leave of absence earlier this year after the investigation became public and ended her re-election campaign. An acting lieutenant governor is currently serving during her leave. Luke is one of 5 individuals indicted in the investigation, including a former state representative. As of now, she has not entered a plea, and her legal defense has not been presented in court. The case is expected to move next to arraignment, where the charges will be formally addressed and the legal process will continue. This is J. Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order directing federal officials to place warning signs outside the Smithsonian National Museum of American History in Washington, District of Columbia. According to the order, the signs will inform visitors that certain historical exhibits should be updated to reflect findings contained in a recent White House report. The administration argues that some displays present an inaccurate portrayal of American history and says the signs will direct visitors to what it considers more accurate historical resources. The executive order also calls for temporary exhibits or signage on National Park Service property surrounding the museum, including sidewalks and walkways, to address what the administration describes as incomplete or misleading historical interpretations. It further states that the museum should place greater emphasis on honoring the signers of the Declaration of Independence during the nation's 250th anniversary commemorations. The order follows a recent congressional hearing where Republican lawmakers criticized museum leadership, accusing the institution of promoting ideological interpretations of American history. Museum Director Anthea Hartig defended the museum's approach, saying its exhibits aim to present a fuller historical record by including additional evidence and perspectives while acknowledging both the nation's achievements and its shortcomings. As of this report, it remains unclear whether the warning signs have been installed. This is J. Claude McDaniel of Streaming News Network. A federal jury has awarded former New York television reporter Oginika Obikwe approximately $2,400,000 after finding that her former employer unlawfully retaliated against her after she raised concerns about alleged racial discrimination in the workplace. The verdict includes approximately $1,140,000 in compensatory damages and $1,280,000 in punitive damages. Obikwe, an Emmy Award-winning journalist, spent more than 22 years with television station PIX11, where she advanced from intern to entertainment anchor and reporter. According to her lawsuit, she repeatedly complained that she was expected to perform the work of multiple employees while receiving less support and compensation than some of her white male colleagues. She also alleged that after reporting her concerns to management and human resources, no meaningful changes were made. The station ultimately ended her employment in January 2023. Court filings state the employer initially cited performance-related reasons for the dismissal before later stating that her contract simply would not be renewed. Following the verdict, Obikwe said she hopes the decision reminds others that speaking up against workplace discrimination matters and that courage can lead to meaningful change. Representatives for Nexstar Media Group declined to comment, and the television station did not immediately respond following the jury's decision. This is J. Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. Authorities on Maui are investigating after several members of a California family reported being assaulted while vacationing at a luxury resort in Lahaina. Police say officers responded at approximately 10 o'clock on the night of July 17 to reports of a disturbance involving about 30 people at the Ka'anapali Alii resort. When officers arrived, between 10 and 15 people remained at the scene, and several had visible injuries. According to investigators, 7 members of one family, ranging in age from 17 to 62, told police they were attacked by a group of young people near the resort's pool and barbecue areas. Witnesses reported that chairs were thrown and multiple family members, including elderly individuals, were physically assaulted. One family member told local media that threats were made before the violence began. Several victims required medical treatment, including one individual who reportedly received 13 staples for a head injury. Police arrested a 20-year-old man from Makawao on suspicion of assault. He was later released while detectives continue gathering evidence and interviewing witnesses. Resort management says it is cooperating fully with law enforcement and emphasized that the safety and well-being of guests remains its highest priority. The investigation is ongoing, and authorities have not announced whether additional arrests are expected. This is J. Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. One of the largest and most remarkable classic car collections ever discovered has sold for more than $10.8 million, after spending decades hidden from public view. The collection belonged to Dutch enthusiast Ad Palmen, who quietly assembled more than 230 rare automobiles over a 40-year period. Rather than displaying them, he stored the vehicles inside 2 warehouses and a church, helping protect many of them from the deterioration often seen in traditional barn finds. The collection featured legendary brands including Ferrari, Maserati, Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Alfa Romeo, Lancia, Aston Martin, BMW, and Chevrolet. After declining health made it difficult for Palmen to maintain the collection, the vehicles were auctioned during a 3-day sale in June 2023. Demand was so intense that the auction website reportedly crashed as collectors from around the world attempted to place bids. The highest-selling vehicle was a 1955 Lancia Aurelia B24 Spider America, which sold for €540,000. Other standout sales included a 1953 Mercedes-Benz 300S Cabriolet and a 1968 Ferrari 365 Grand Touring 2+2. At the other end of the spectrum, the least expensive vehicle, a 1998 Opel Vectra B, sold for just €225. The extraordinary sale highlights the enduring appeal of rare collector automobiles and the lasting value of carefully preserved automotive history. This is J. Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. A luxury California ranch once owned by legendary Jeopardy! Host Alex Trebek is heading to a no-reserve auction, raising questions about the current state of the high-end real estate market. The sprawling 724-acre property in Paso Robles wine country was listed for $33 million but failed to attract a buyer after multiple attempts. Now, the estate will be sold at auction on August 5, with no minimum bid required. The property includes a 10,000-square-foot home, a vineyard, equestrian facilities, and expansive ranch land. Trebek owned the estate for 37 years before his death in 2020. Auction organizers say selling without a reserve price creates a competitive bidding environment that allows the market to determine the property's true value. However, industry analysts note that luxury homes sold at auction often close for less than their original asking prices. Real estate experts say the sale reflects a broader shift in the luxury housing market. Following the pandemic housing boom, high-end home prices have softened, buyers have become more selective, and sellers are increasingly turning to auctions to complete sales more quickly. The sale also serves as a reminder that even prestigious properties with celebrity ownership must ultimately be priced according to market demand.
Thank you for viewing Streaming News Network videos, and also short and special reports. Please like, subscribe, and tap the bell to be notified of additional reports.